What's up and welcome back. I'm John Stark from MyMovieGuy.com, your favorite blind film critic, and this is Monkey Man. Uh, this is Dev Patel's film. He directed and starred in Monkey Man. There's a long and storied history with this film. I love that it is now on Peacock because it was originally a Netflix film that was sort of languishing. Jordan Peele somehow got a glimpse of it and was like, no, this deserves to go theatrical. So he stepped in with his Monkey Paw production company and jumped in as producer, pulled the film out, got it a theatrical release, and now it's on Peacock. So it has audio description. I think it's there in Polish. Unfortunately, I never get to watch credits on Peacock. Peacock is one of the quickest streaming services to get me. Peacock is actually so bad about credits. They've ended and transferred me before a movie was over. I've literally been kicked out of films before they're over. Like, it's still, like, you can tell it's close. It's like maybe like 30 seconds or like a minute, right? And I'm like, what? Okay. So yeah, I didn't get very far into the credits. So I don't know who did the narration for this. It sounded like Darren Polish. That's just a guess, though. This is definitely one of those films that lends itself to potentially being one of the best audio description titles of the year. At least walking in the door. I need to say like last year, because I know where my Monkey Man review is going to go here. And I don't want people to be like, well, he's blind, so he didn't get it. Last year in my top 10, I had Sisu in my top 10 films of the year. I loved Sisu so much last year. And actually last year, my favorite audio description track of the year was John Wick Chapter 4. When I did my year, they're on my channel. You can go look at them. I have a video for each one of those things, so I can't lie about it. There's existing videos from back at the beginning of this year. So yes, this type of thing I can fully understand and process and enjoy it. So, but this felt to me a little bit more like Silent Night than John Wick Chapter 4 or Sisu. Like, I wasn't totally in it. I think Dev Patel does some interesting things here in terms of choices that he makes as a director. It's so odd that he wants this to be his film. It's very steeped in Indian culture, and that perhaps is one of the reasons why he wanted to bring this to the screen, is because it takes place in India, and there's a lot of political stuff that's thrown in here into the story, and the revenge plot and everything. So representation out the door, in terms of that. But I'm not entirely sure why he wants to be an action star all of a sudden. It's a lot of it just feels like he's standing around sometimes and just kind of like watching things happen. And it felt kind of slow, the pacing at times. It felt like I was waiting for the next action sequence or waiting for something to happen, while like other people were or we were learning, or we were catching a flashback. I don't catch the flashbacks as being part of like the action sequence. Yeah, there's some serious stuff that goes down in the flashbacks, but at the same time, I'm here for like a revenge plot thriller. So I'm here to see like Dev Patel go forward and kick some butt. And considering that he actually injured himself multiple times while filming this, I was expecting the action sequences to be pretty constant and pretty brutal. I mean, Keanu does his own gung fu work in the John Wick franchises, and he doesn't get hospitalized. So I was like, man, if Dev Patel's doing this, if he's really giving all this to this must be I was expecting like a really badass film. there are parts of this that actually remind me of why people like Jackie Chan in the beginning. Except even his films have more action, quicker pacing. But there's some stuff here where Dev Patel just kind of uses what's around him, which I felt like was an influence by Jackie Chan, and how a lot of Jackie Chan's earlier work is always just like, just grab something. I mean, Jackie Chan used to fight with the weirdest shit in his movies, just like trash can lids. You know, anything he could grab, he would throw into an action sequence, and that's what made him so uniquely special. Was that it didn't matter where he was; he used the entire world around him. He was like the Charlie Chaplin of action stars. You know, just like everything was a possibility. He was parkouring before there were parkour. Yeah, it was just everything to him was eligible. And there's a little bit of that here that Dev Patel tries to bring in, where he tries to just use things other than his bandaged hands. Possibly because he broke one of his hands during filming, so he's maybe trying not to swing as many punches in certain scenes. So that's one of the things I thought was interesting, was I was like, okay, well, a lot of times we see so many movies nowadays where it's just like, hand somebody a gun, just watch them tear down, you know, just watch them go. And at least it wasn't that. Like, that's one of the positives. At least it wasn't that. At least it was more of a bare knuckle brawl type film with grab random shit and hit people over the head with it, you know, but like that kind of a film. Are guns used? Absolutely. Guns are used. But not to the extent that Keanu Reeves uses them in John Wick. So, yeah, it is... There's that, but the pacing, I just wasn't crazy about the pacing. The story gets kind of muddled because so much of it is told through flashbacks. We're introduced to him at a certain point in the film, and we're like, okay, so this is the character. This is what we got. This is what we got to work with. All right, I've accepted that. And then you learn so much through flashbacks that you feel like you didn't even know who you knew at the beginning of the film. like who was that guy? I don't even know anymore. It's this other guy, you know. I'm not even sure Bobby is his name. He looked at a box and said Bobby was his name, and then we just started calling him Bobby. So there was like Bobby's bleach. I think he looked at the box and he saw Bobby's bleach, and then he told somebody his name was Bobby, and then for like the rest of the film, he's Bobby instead of the fighter. I think for the first part of the film, the audio description refers to him as like the fighter or something, and then he's referred to as Bobby for the rest of the film. I'm like, I don't know if either one of those are his name, actually, like his actual name, because of the way that we accept that his name is Bobby's bleach. I was like, I think he probably just read that off of a box. So he's like, what's your name? And he looked at Bobby, you know, like, anyway, yeah, it's such a weird introduction to this character, like, over time. I think John Wick even did it a little bit better. Like, we do get some flashbacks to the past, but there are ways that we talk about John Wick, that other characters talk about John Wick, that build him up in the present, so it's not all told through flashback. It's a very odd way to do it. I'm trying to think of like other comparisons. Sisu is sort of like, he's sort of this like legend, you know, like we don't know much about him. He's unnamed. He doesn't really have, his name is Sisu. It's you know, he's just this unnamed legendary assassin, killer, revenge man. And I think films like that don't rely so heavily on flashback, and I think this one does, because of the fact that I guess he needs to rise up out of nothing, so nobody can know who he is. Although there's this really cool action sequence with the wallet, which isn't really an action sequence, where they just pass the wallet through, I don't know, an entire town. I mean, the coordination in that scene alone was amazing. And the fact that he was able to get all those people to pass that wallet to him, amazing. You know, like I like conceptually, if I'm thinking about this as like a real world scenario, and I'm accepting this as a real person, I'm just like, wow, that is the most choreographed sequence of passing a wallet through town that I think I've ever seen. So like there are moments in this that I'm like, wow, that was great. And then there are other moments where I just feel like it slows down. And we're sitting there, we're watching, and other characters come in. Um, and then we have like a slow little conversation about like, who are you? Why are you doing this? Why are you here? It's like, and he doesn't want to talk much. It's just kind of slow. It's like it never can pick up its pace and maintain it. It has to draw it back all the time, or flashback. And it kind of left me a little bit like, in a genre that we're seeing more and more of, more and more revenge thrillers, more and more people in this field doing similar things, and more people who are getting offered the first opportunity to do a film like this. I think you have to do something to stand out, and it can't just be the fact that he's a bare knuckle brawler, or that he's Indian, or he's like, what is it that makes this special? What is it that makes it stand out? And it could have been that Dev Patel as a director really had a unique vision for this, but I feel like his vision wasn't so much in the direction as it was in his casting and representing India. So, but India has its own film system, and I feel like they could probably do this better. If we're being hot honest, I feel like there's a Bollywood film that probably has better action sequences than Monkey Man. I know people like this film, and it's really hard for me because I normally like this type of film. That's why I was saying I feel like this is Silent Night. I feel like this is a film that had potential, because that's John Woo coming back. But just for some reason it just doesn't work. It just didn't quite come together in a way where in this genre I'm going to sit here and remember it as being at the top of its genre of these revenge thrillers that we keep getting more and more of, multiple a year. Anyway, so yeah, they can't all be amazing, I guess. So, but the audio description is pretty solid because there is a lot to work with here. I do feel like it was maybe a little bit light on set/scenery, which maybe is the one thing that sets this thing apart, is where they've chosen to place it, because we haven't quite seen a film like that yet. So maybe RR, I guess. I don't know. But even though RR is, I wouldn't say it's the same thing as this, but yeah, maybe more on set scenery, but action is where it really mattered, and I thought it came through on the action. So, like I said, that choreographed sequence, I'm going to remember that. It's weird that out of a movie with all the fighting and all the punching and all the ass kicking and Dev Patel injuring himself multiple times, the thing I was most impressed with was passing this wallet through town. Because it is, if you haven't seen Monkey Man yet, it is the most passing of a wallet I think we've ever done in a film. I don't know if there's another film that has passed a wallet that much, that far through town. You know, I feel like that wallet made a journey of itself. Like we can make a little children's adventure movie about the day the wallet made its trip through town. That was the most impressive thing to me, and it has nothing to do with fighting. And I feel like I should be impressed by something more than that in a movie about fighting. So I'm not saying it's all bad. Like I said, that there are things that Dev Patel does right here as a director, and that's one of them. That was really well choreographed, but I need more. So I'm gonna give Monkey Man a C+. That's where I'm at with that. So I didn't hate it, but I do need more out of Monkey Man. Anyway, so thanks for watching, thanks for subscribing, and I will see you guys on the other side.